hadn't had time to think of it. I nearly actually crashed on I didn't really nearly crash, but we had someone bark at us, beep at us.
Bark us?
Yeah. Didn't she beep
She did, yeah. Well, I didn't see there was a woman. I didn't notice.
Oh, yeah, but it was a woman. That's probably why she'd be.
Well,
no, but I didn't do bad. I was just slowing down to get in, and then she was giving out stink over it.
I wasn't there, so I won't pick sides. He's not a great driver, isn't he? Not to be fair.
I thought he was fine. I don't drive, so
okay.
it's a low bar for me.
Right, yeah.
Just the fact that it moved, I was impressed.
What do you know about driving? He crashed his car 3 times. I've never crashed my car.
Is he bringing me back?
Yeah,
I'm bringing.
yeah.
We'll cut this now.
He's only crashed when he's parking, so just jump out while the car's moving, and you'll be all good.
I don't know if we're recording now, but I just want to say, when I agreed to do this, you said we're a Dublin-based podcast, not in the middle of
Cork.
nowhere.
That's the other running thing we have. We're actually in Cork.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's a bit far out.
It's a far out, isn't it?
It is
scary,
far out.
yeah.
It is scary.
I've never seen someone sit so far away in the passenger seat. Like, I thought he was going to get into the glove compartment.
Back in the 80s when people say, when there was troubles in the north and they were brought into a car by people and brought up South Armagh direction, you felt something bad was going to happen. It felt like that today.
Who have I fucking pissed off now in the last while? Going through everyone in his head.
It's a long way away.
That must be a mad one, not driving as a comedian. Is it? Does it?
It's really bad.
Does it
it's one of the worst things you can do.
I was about to say, does it become problems? Because I was only talking to a lad yesterday in the Galway Show Me the Funny, I think it's called. There's competition down there, and there was no Dublin comics going, and he had to book a hotel because there was no one coming back, and a train. Oh my god,
happens to me all the time.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
I didn't drive. I lived in Dublin City for a long time.
Yeah.
Up till I was about 30, more than that, and so I didn't have to.
Yeah.
And all the gigs were in Dublin,
of course.
And and then you get a train to Cork now and again, or Galway, and then suddenly it's all I'm moving out to the suburbs, and then and all the gigs are all over the place.
Yeah, I know.
It's
You
really
need to get
hard.
yourself an e-scooter. Have you got one of those?
It wouldn't bring me to Mayo.
No.
That'd be a problem.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That was
you can get buses to places like around Dublin, but an e-scooter, I'll try that.
No, don't try that. Don't try that. They're dangerous. Dangerous.
Well, whatever. You could get a good safe one and a helmet. You can get ones you can sit down.
Sorry, that would be the funniest sketch ever. Just seeing you on an e-scooter going to Mayo.
And also, I've one of the biggest heads in comedy. I probably have the biggest head in comedy. I want to put that in record.
Figuratively.
No, literally. Not like I don't have a big ego.
Okay,
I have a massive head.
I don't think so.
And like literally, I'm telling you, I have.
Have you measured this before?
Huh?
Have you measured it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I measured it many a time, and I've had it measured for. So basically, I always knew I had a big head, and people would often tell me, and I noticed I couldn't get caps to fit. Like I'd get XLs and then double XLs. It was getting bigger and bigger. We were afraid it wouldn't stop. But and then people with little kids would say, "Oh, mammy, why's that man got a big head?" I remember that.
I've seen your rival now, the Labour MP.
Oh yeah, your man. Yeah, I can't remember his name.
He looks pretty similar.
It's sickening though when someone like that comes along and
does he look
they have
like
a bigger head. Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's on my Instagram. Yeah, I did a bit of video about that. Right. Jack something is. I can't remember his name. Anyway, it'll come to me.
I can't remember.
Jack
I looked him up
just got in Nottingham or somewhere, and and everyone was telling me, "Oh, you look at this. Is that your son or whatever?"
Do your sons have big heads?
Huh?
Do your sons?
No, I have a son and a daughter, and they don't have big heads. My parents didn't have big heads. This is something I don't know where it comes from. I had my head made. John Calleary has a big head. You know John Calleary?
Yeah.
Because he talked about it as having a big head. And when we were working on the Tommy Tiernan show, we had our heads measured for caps and that.
Yeah.
And Tommy Tiernan's was a good bit smaller than mine. Fred Cook's is smaller. And by an inch, John Calleary's is 24 inches in diameter, and I'm 25.
Ooh. Oh, so you bet him?
Yeah, and I looked it up online, and if you've got a head diameter of 25 inches, you're in the top 1,000th percentile. If you're in any room, like there's not that, well, there's probably thousands of people with bigger heads than me in Ireland, but not many, we're in the elite.
I feel like you're passionate about this.
Beyond me, you're getting into clinical territory. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think now of people who have big heads, or famous people with big heads.
Apparently, a lot of people like Tom Cruise are small and they've big heads.
Oh yeah, I could see
Yeah.
that.
And you
yeah.
just don't know the proportion.
And then you
yeah.
see Gareth Noon had a thing about having a big head recently, but he's big.
Yeah,
Of course he has a big
Oh,
head.
I know what you mean.
In
Yeah.
proportion to his body,
Yeah,
but I'm
yeah.
not big. I have small shoulders. I'm small, but that's why it looks. I mean, it is big and it looks bigger because of a smaller.
Well, we
frame.
usually, like, for the Spotify picture, we usually blow up the sides of the head just to make it look.
Don't.
Yeah, we're good. We'll actually probably have to shrink it.
You shrink it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it
then
won't fit.
we'll fit it in. Look at that.
Where was that going though? That started somewhere. Driving. Was it? Oh yeah, I can't get a
You got a
helmet.
helmet on your head.
You couldn't get a helmet to fit.
So-
All
This
those
is the
things.
best start to a podcast I've ever had.
Well, it's therapeutic for me.
Yeah, I feel like you was planned this, did
Yeah,
you?
no, and I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it.
Yeah,
That is brilliant.
yeah.
No.
But there's always that nightmare that someone with a bigger head will come along and in the comedy scene and just take it all away. And you know,
I think it's
Who's
such a-
pointing this out? Because I never.
Oh, I think
never.
it's.
you wouldn't
such a-
take it sometimes.
No,
yeah.
I wouldn't look at someone and say, Jesus,
Yeah,
his head's
yeah.
25 inches diameter.
Well, little kids have said it. And, you know,
Is
it's not
that
me.
now
Kids are evil.
Yeah,
round or this way round?
yeah. It's that way around there, diameter. Yeah.
What is that? Like this?
No, I'm just curious. Like, I'm just curious because what about this? Because is there anyone that has a bigger head this way?
Possibly.
Because I didn't think John Cleary's head was that big.
I don't think I've really ever seen anyone honestly and said that's a big head.
My
Maybe
cousin Kieran has a big head.
Really.
Yes.
he does.
Like, say he
What
has
does
a
he do?
fuck all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he actually had a brain injury as well.
Oh, fuck.
Unrelated.
Oh,
Unrelated. He couldn't wear the helmet. That's why.
he actually does have a bit of a big head.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, let's get into the podcast today. Thanks very much for joining us. We have
Yeah.
Pat McDonnell.
Yeah.
Obviously,
you.
Father Ted, Naked Camera, Savage Joy. You know him all over RTE. I think shaped a lot of people's comedy.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Comedy
Yeah.
mindset.
I think if you've
comedy, like flavor.
I'll take over now, right? Yeah, if you watch
You know what I'm
anything.
trying to say.
Or we don't, but go on. I know what you mean. You've shaped everyone's comedy.
Go on, you
Fuck,
say it. Can
fuck,
you
that's
do
a
it?
hard one. Yes, perspective of
flavour.
comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, any good Irish TV show basically have been on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, there's a few that I wasn't on. Yeah.
Love,
But
hey, is it true you auditioned for Nidge?
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you actually? Yeah.
No.
Fuck off. Because he has a pretty small head.
Ew,
He
Nidge.
would. Yeah.
He does have a small head.
Back to the head.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where we start. There's so much to start.
There
with.
is how much to start on.
Of all them shows.
Father Ted is probably a good start.
Yeah. So Father Ted happened not long after I started. I started 30 years ago in 1995.
Is that start comedy?
Starting comedy.
Yeah.
I'd done a few things before that, but then like kind of short films and stuff. And then I did stand up. And like it was a tiny scene then.
Yeah.
Tiny. Like there was only a handful of comedians.
Really?
And there was the International and then City Limits in Cork. There was one in Galway, a club in Galway. And a couple of gigs on around the country and that, you know, but
Yeah.
very little, and there were very few comedians. And then this Father Ted started in 95 as well.
Yeah.
And so your odds of getting into Father Ted were very good. You know,
'Cause there wasn't a
you
lot.
know, but odds, but like,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, you know,
You
but
know,
like,
he's a gambler, do you?
yeah. But like, you know, so I mean, it was very quickly went from doing comedy and then knowing the guys who wrote Father Ted and then suddenly getting into it. It was amazing at that time.
yeah.
Almost everyone on that and from the scene at that time were in Father Ted. It's a great snapshot of that time.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah, that's deadly. Were the writers also comics like? Is that?
Yeah, they'd done a bit of comedy before. They'd been in so I have a friend, Paul Woodfull. Paul Woodfull's Ding Dong Denny O'Reilly. He does the
yeah.
voice of the canary on those the Board Gosh ads, you know, those things,
yeah,
the
yeah.
safety ads. And he did a band called the Joshua Trio. Like the Joshua Tree, it was a piss take of U2.
Right.
And Arthur Matthews used to play drums in that, and Graham Linehan used to do sketches with them. So that's where they came from, that whole scene. So yeah, so it was an amazing time. You know,
Yeah,
you had a
yeah.
great
Yeah,
time. You
definitely.
just suddenly you're in one of the biggest shows in the UK.
Yeah,
and it's
that's
amazing.
crazy.
It's crazy.
That's
Still how it
crazy.
howls now. Like, well, how did you have to audition for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did. I auditioned originally for the Christmas special. Remember that one?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that? Yeah, and I did a little part in that.
Okay.
And I didn't get that, but I knew the lads, so they then said they were thinking of getting me into the third series, and they kind of wrote the part with me in mind.
That's
and I auditioned the first time. I didn't get it because they didn't give me the script. They thought I could just go in and be funny. You know what I mean? I'd just go in and just be me. And funny, and I was just standing there like a tool. And I just read the thing just before it.
Tell you the scenario and then you have to go and
and then you just try to read it and just be spontaneously brilliant. But it didn't work, so they gave me another shot at it, and I knew the script and it was perfect. You know, it was grand.
It's hard just walking in, isn't it? And just like,
it was really hard. Yeah,
I couldn't even imagine
so that character that you were on. McLove.
Yeah.
It's McLove. I keep saying McLovin in my head because
I know, because of the other one. Yeah. Wonder did they see it? Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like you were similar to Dougal in that way. Like it was just kind of that silly type of humour.
They did, because I grew up near Dundalk, and probably it wasn't that far from where Ardle grew up in Castle, or not Castle Bay, Carrickmacross.
Yeah.
So it was very similar kind of accent and similar sense of humour.
Yeah.
So it was like Ardle was a bit of an inspiration for me getting into stand-up, because he was doing stand-up. I thought he was brilliant. So I thought that, I could just be myself getting up there and that. So, but I think the writers had an idea that I could be Dougal's brother or Father Ted's son. This was the idea that I could be. That would have been great.
Yeah.
And he builds up. He's an adopted son. His son he didn't know about, and then he comes back, and he probably has all these dreams of how great the son was, and then he comes in and he's just like Dougal. He's an idiot. And that was a good idea. But then they came up with this singer, and so a lot of it was kind of they got to know the comedians before they wrote the part. So they had a good idea. For, say, Father Stone, Michael Redmond. You know Father Stone, that comedian. It's very like Father Stone.
So they just kind of write him into it.
And then Joe Rooney was very like Father Damo.
Yeah, that's very smart.
So they were observing us before.
And
they put bits of us into it. Definitely with me.
That's probably the best way to. I'm not a writer, but I can imagine that's the easiest way.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. Like.
And also Dougal's kind of a bit like what Ardle was doing on stage.
Oh, really?
Playing this Egypt. It was very similar in tone. And they definitely got the sort of stuff they would have seen me doing in the International Bar at that time, And it's very similar to the stand-up sort of persona I have still,
That's very
so it was really
you
easy.
go for the Daniel O'Donnell type of look on stage then, is it?
Well, not really, I mean, it's just that
was the
switch I can do between being really nice one minute and then really angry the next, and really
I've fucking seen it in the car, alright.
I could switch like that, just like that.
Really?
Like Ted Bundy,
Where
the serial killer.
Ted Bundy.
That's one of the way he was looking at me legs in the car.
Yeah.
I had to keep saying, I am a man.
But so it was easy actually to do, because it was pretty much doing what I was doing on the stage, the comedy stage, doing that in Father Ted.
Happy days.
And it was funny though. I visited my brother who lived in Castleblaney in Monaghan. When it was shown. And him and his wife didn't laugh because they knew me and they didn't laugh. And then we went to his local pub that my sister-in-law's uncle owned, and they were all real alphalas in the bar. And the owner of the bar was real raw, and no one laughed through the whole episode.
You just watched it in the pub?
Yeah, watched it in the pub. And it was shown on the Friday night, right? And we watched it in my brother's house, and then the Sunday night was repeated. I went to the bar, and no one laughed. And at the end of the episode, the owner turned off the telly and said, "How much did you get paid for that?" And that was it. And I was like, "Oh, fuck. It's shite." And I thought, man, that was terrible. And then I got the bus back to Dublin the next day, and I got off at O'Connell Street, got off with my bag, and someone says, "I've no willy."
It's fucking hilarious.
And that was it. That's straight away. There was no messing around.
No.
Yeah.
So it's a big hit in Dublin straight away. Anyway,
it was a big hit around the country. You just didn't know, because I mean, you're watching with alphalas and your family and that, But and then just from there, it just kind of had a life of its own.
It's crazy.
I never went away ever.
No.
Yeah, it's mad. It's crazy.
Unlike the Willy.
Yeah. Well, it was never there in the first place.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Yeah.
That is mad. That's a mad thing, isn't it? The way you're saying there that no one laughed, and then you as you said, you get off the bus in O'Connell Street. But that's something like your role, for example. What did you say? That's
you're old, did you say?
Role.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you were old.
This year's
I am old. But
this year, it's 30 years, and it's still, you're one of those people now, from people that are even 10, 11 now watching that to 60 something, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
60. I don't know when it stopped at 60, but all ages basically. Like.
All ages, because you know, I mean, I did Comic-Con up in Belfast there a few months ago with a few of the lads like Joe Rudy and Michael Redmond and that, you know, and you had kids coming up getting stuff signed.
Crazy.
Who just like not just weren't born, but like their parents were barely born, you know, when it was on, and it's just kept going. Now, occasionally, like starting my stand-up set, I'll often say, you might recognise me from Father Ted, you know, and people go, woo, and like traditionally you'd say, can you shout out a line, you know, and people would say, I've no willy, and I go, fuck off, you know, whatever. But like now, sometimes they don't know it, because I think the whole television world is kind of splintered, and people live in their own bubbles.
Definitely.
And online they do. So people will like certain things, like they like the American Office, say, and they just know that.
Yeah, definitely.
And not know Father Ted.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so it's not everyone knows Father Ted. It's just certain pockets are really into it.
Yeah,
you know?
I wouldn't have grown up watching it. Like, to be honest, like I think that's probably because my parents wouldn't have watched it. It's the
They're
same
very
with,
Catholic and that.
Yeah. We don't have a telly. We just pray and
books
stuff.
all day long.
Oh, the Father Ted book was really good.
Yeah,
I have no willy. But the same with Friends. Like I never like had like anyone in my house
You
that
had no
watched Friends. So, nah. Very good.
So he does know you well.
Yeah.
But I never had anyone in the house that watched Friends. Like, so I never would have grown up watching that.
That's mad. I would have definitely. My parents. Like, actually, the first guest my nanny's got excited about now. And I told her we have on the. She calls us a broadcast. Is yourself.
That's very depressing. You know that? Everyone else say, who? What?
She said, tell me if he still has it.
Exactly.
He doesn't have a willy.
Tell him if he still has it, because I could have got off for it once, you know? Probably did, back in the day, you know.
Grandad, is that you?
He's actually have.
I know you're not my grandchild, because your head's grand, like, you know.
No, he's big headed, alright.
Yeah.
Oh, that is gas. No, but that's mad, because it is like every age. Like, I know you said you didn't grow up, but I definitely would have, like, and the Christmas special and all, like that Father Ted, I think, in most homes was just a thing, like.
Yeah.
It's still very popular on RT2, you know. I look at the ratings every week for RTE.
Yeah.
And it's still popular. When it goes on, the repeat will do better than a lot of what they're putting out, like, you know, new stuff.
Yeah, nostalgia's perfect, isn't it?
But
Everybody loves
it
nostalgia.
definitely holds up, like,
of course,
the comedy in it is fucking
Hasn't
brilliant.
dated because it wasn't topical at the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of universal. Like Fawlty Towers is still very funny. I don't know if you watch it or are familiar
clips
with it.
and pieces
You should though.
here,
It's
but-
very good.
A lot of I listen to a lot of podcasts. A lot of English comedians, like Ricky Gervais. I think he even talked about it in The Overlap.
Yeah.
He said he loved it.
My dad would have loved that
Would
now.
he?
He would have
Yeah.
watched that on Dave.
It hasn't dated. Like I showed it to my son and that, and he loved it. Like, you know, and
I'm more into like Fault in Our Stars. Do you know that?
what's that?
It's a rom-com. I'm only messing. It's a rom-com, but no, never mind. Bad joke, Carl. I tried it. I thought you would have gotten that straight away. Fault in Our Stars. Fault in Our Stars is like
I'm sorry.
a woman's movie.
Listen,
Go on, I'll give it a
We're all
go.
allowed little bumps here and there, like, you know what I mean? Just forget about it.
Okay, ask me another
Forget
question
about
there.
it.
Yes.
I thought
That's mad. It is, because we were just saying it holds up. We weren't even born. The last episode was April 1998, and we were born in June and July 1998.
Jesus, I didn't know that now.
Still, like, all throughout growing up, like, you would have heard about it. And you don't watch Father Ted? What? And you do watch, like,
But you probably knew phrases from it, like you're probably aware of, like, down with that sort of thing and all of those sort of catchphrases that have just entered the lexicon, you know. It's amazing.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I would have, as I said, it was all like, at least my stepdad loves watching all. He's nostalgia mad. Like, he'd watch Father Ted every say 2 or 3 years. He'd watch it, like, like it's same that and Love Hate is what he watches all the time.
Wow.
On repeat. Yeah.
Stepdad, is he?
What? Yeah,
Watch
he loves
Love Hate?
loves Love Hate. Yeah,
That's a mad one. I would
he watched
never
it there
really
about
guess
2 years ago. The whole thing again. Just
Even when you go back and watch that, though, I feel like it's not as good at the start as what you remember. But Father Ted, I watched it a good few episodes there in the lead up to this, just to kind of prepare.
Yeah.
But it's fucking, like, even the camera cuts and all is fucking brilliant. Like,
absolutely.
it definitely stands up. So
Yeah, I watched it again.
You do the camera
I
work?
didn't know. I wouldn't watch it that much, especially the one I was in. And when I showed it to my kids, well, then my kids got into it. And then they were really awkward looking at me, you know.
Oh,
You know, and they'd heard I'd know Willie all their lives. All their lives. I mean, growing up. Even in the maternity hospital, they wouldn't remember that. But people, I've no Willie. I was there with my kid.
That is so funny.
It's mad how one line can just stick forever, isn't
But
it?
funny you've been recognised. I remember when my son was born by caesarean section, my wife was there being cut open.
Yeah.
And the surgeon was there, you're your man, yeah, and you're doing the comedy, how are you doing? You're Father Ted, I know you. This is the biggest moment in her life that she's dreaming about.
And it's all around
Father
you.
Ted. Yeah, it's all about me.
Has that been weird for you? Like a lot of cultural references,
Well,
you've
I
had a big
would-
impact. Like,
Well, at the time, I was more worried about my son. I have to say,
Yeah.
you know, will he come out?
Just that one time. Just that one time.
But
Will he have a
it's
willy?
weird. The one thing about cultural references is like sometimes I'll ask people, or sometimes people will shout out a line, say from Father Ted, or one of the other shows, and I won't remember it. I haven't seen
really?
that episode in a long time.
Yeah.
And like someone will say something, like,
And you
what?
haven't a clue.
What?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a notion.
Yeah, I can
Most
imagine.
sketches in that you wouldn't watch again, say on the Savage Eye or any of those shows.
Yeah.
Like some shows I just never watched really, you know.
Really, yeah. That's mad because
So cool, though.
the most of Orden, like they're the shows that like everybody, as I keep saying, like would have just watching over and over and over again, and you just do it and nearly forget about it. Like,
Yeah,
that's a mad
well, say
one.
the Savage Eye came out. That kind of came and it was popular, and then it disappeared completely. People forgot about it largely, and then social media with Instagram clips and TikTok clips.
Yeah.
picking back up again.
One day it's like Ngardy, and it never stopped.
Yeah,
Then, you know,
yeah,
people are always shouting it out. You know,
It's crazy.
I actually only seen a clip of that. The one of David with there's a couple and they're about to kiss or something.
Yeah.
And he's just
That's brilliant.
hilarious,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That came up on TikTok. Like TikTok one. How old is that? Like that was 2005 or something. Was it?
No, it'd be a bit later. I mean, we did it between 2009 and 2014 was the last one that came out. We filmed the last one in 2013.
Oh Jesus, that was a bit longer. That's actually not that long. Well, I suppose 10, 12 years now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Yes, that is a long time.
It is.
And how come that just went away? Was there a reason
It's
for it?
just, I mean, you know, television just goes away. Like, I mean, shows can be very popular for a time, and then they're faded. Like, I was in Moon Boy. I don't know, the thing with Chris O'Dowd, that was in Sky about 10 years ago. And that was very big for a time, and then just like no one would remember it now. Really, it's not
mad,
repeated
like.
much. And
I love that show.
I actually haven't watched it.
What's the song called? Like, wait a
that?
minute, where's me jumper?
Oh,
Where's
that's
me
right,
jumper?
yeah, well
Where's
remembered
me
you.
jumper? Yeah.
Oh,
that's brilliant.
I didn't know
There
that was
you
in
go.
that.
I loved that show. I thought it was brilliant. He was like the
The little kid and that, and he was the imaginary friend.
of the kid. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was deadly. I
He's
love
class
that.
as well, isn't he?
Very good. Yeah,
He's in
the IT crowd. Yeah.
He's Irish as well, isn't he?
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's from Roscommon. Yeah.
Oh, is he?
So it was
Yeah.
all a lot of it was filmed in Roscommon, set in Roscommon. It was all about his childhood and that.
Ah,
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
And is he based in England now?
Yeah, he was based in LA till recently,
was
and then
he?
came back to England. Yeah, I'd say
Jeez.
that house he lived in is gone.
Gone.
now.
Oh, no,
But,
yeah, Jesus
yeah.
Christ. Like, that's
Yeah.
another mad
Yeah,
one.
that is crazy, Ollie.
But no, it's funny the way things have come back a lot, you know, and yeah.
I want to talk about naked camera because I kind of tried to hold myself back in the car on the way here talking about it because I was such a big fan of that.
Yeah,
I think
of
that
course.
definitely opened my eyes to how funny Irish people can
Yeah,
be in
yeah.
certain situations. But how fun was that filming that? So that
It was
just-
good fun, yeah. Now, the interesting story with that is that we originally were going to film that with the Dublin Improv group. Like, I don't know if you know Ian Coppinger, and there was a few others.
Heard of
They
him.
were meant
Kevin
to.
Gildea and stuff is in it.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
he?
Kevin Gildea, that sort of group.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But they a lot of them got cast in a play in London, so they couldn't do it. Then we looked around for other people who'd be in it. Mike Savage was chosen, and I have the pilot at home, and he was going to be the PJ.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Yeah. So
No
he
way.
As in all of his sketches are just...
He was going to be.
Just a Jake
Maeve
Stevens
wasn't
part.
involved then, but no, he wasn't going to do Jake Stevens. But Mike Savage was going to do his own things, and
Okay.
like
Oh,
I
I
was
didn't
writing
know
for him.
that.
Yeah, so we filmed the pilot and it got commissioned. That's how it was going to be, and we were all set. That's brilliant. A fucking series,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
And Mike Savage was building up for this for years, and then about 2 weeks into filming, he rang me. Hey, Pat, yeah, I'm gone. I'm fucking off. I just can't work this pants.
That's a
fucking great
He did it before your ear. It's fucking
I was
deadly.
at home watching the Late Late Show, delighted with myself.
Yeah,
thinking, oh,
yeah.
I'll be getting loads of money now. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah, I'm good, Yuri. Look, I'll talk to you soon. That was it.
Did you have to do all of it again, or did you keep your bits?
Well, we were only 2 weeks into it, so
Right.
basically, we when the lads left, we tried out a few different people. There was Bernard O'Shea.
Yeah.
Very early on for him. We tried out a few, like Carl Spain did something and a few others did something. John Cleary came in for one. And then I wanted to get PJ in because PJ had done stunts on the Jason Bourne show in around 2001.
Oh, okay.
And it was the best part of that show was him falling out of trees, being hit by cars. And I thought, it's like Jackass. I thought it'd be brilliant to get him in. And he couldn't do the series. He couldn't do the pilot. He couldn't be in the pilot because I think he was going to Bosnia or something like that. That was mad. So
I would be cancelling that flight in a heartbeat.
Television. I'm going to Anyway, we got the thing commissioned and we were going to get him in anyway because Dave was friends with him at the time, and we were going to get him back, but then he had to fill in the role, like the big role, and so we got him out to do the Jumper Man. We had this idea of this like gangster.
Mister, can you take those angles off me for a second, mister? It's fucking hilarious.
So we had that idea. The original idea was he was going to go into a hardware shop looking for things, but it was obviously for a hit.
Yeah.
You know, like a hammer and whatever and all this. Yeah. But the guy kind of saw through it. But then we were sitting across in a cafe across from what do you call it? House, estate agent.
Right.
And we thought, wouldn't it be funny if he went in to the estate agents, just say, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So that was the bear to that. And that was the first sketch, and it was brilliant. And from then on, he just flew. Everything he did was gold. Deadly. And like, the most I've ever laughed in my life and almost wet myself was watching those raw clips of him doing all of that stuff.
There's gold there that would never got released.
I mean, and you're the first person nearly seeing it, well, apart from the editor and that, you know.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is going to be brilliant, you know. You knew straight away. And people on the, on the circuit were saying, "Oh, you're doing a hidden camera show. It's so you
on the comedy circuit, like judging you."
And I was saying, wait till you see it. It's unbelievable.
It's fuck TV.
And then we got Maven, and she was brilliant as well. I used to wet myself laughing at the stuff she did. So you knew straight away this is going to be a
Your
big
ones
show.
are brilliant as well. The sign one, that always fucking creased me.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I'll get onto that.
Yeah. He walks into a sign shop.
Is this the for sale one?
Yeah.
It's fucking gold.
So I did, but in the first series, basically, I did most of the sketches I did before Maeve and PJ were involved. So that was for the pilot. A lot of those ones, say the ducks in the park and all of that, all of that. That was all done before it got a bit more out there, you know. It was all pretty much like old-fashioned sort of RTE, sort of Mike Murphy type sketches that I did. So in the second one though, I got to do the Orange Man, which I loved doing.
That's so funny.
I got threatened a few times. Like a Sinn Féin councillor came in.
People who aren't listening, you went to Cork, was it?
Yeah, Cork, to Cove.
As a man from Belfast, and part of the Orange Order. And what was your man that you were talking to? What?
So we were going to open up an Orange Lodge in Cove. And I was trying to get this guy to paint it, And I'm not sure if it went in, but I was saying, I'd like a mural of show unity with Padraig Pearse with Oliver Cromwell, and but Cromwell is holding Padraig Pearse down like that. But anyway, we got a good bit of crack out of that. But I said the Catholics sank the Titanic.
Sank the Titanic.
I put it up on TikTok. I put it up on Instagram. Loads of people think it's real. That's the brilliant thing.
It's so funny.
Yeah. And even at the time, I said, you loosen the rivets. And of course, you can't loosen rivets. I know that. I was just sitting myself in this room. I didn't make it up.
The sign one, I don't know if we probably explained it here, but just for people who haven't heard it.
One of the best sketches.
You went into a sign shop that had obviously for sale, 50% off, all these different signs, because I don't know, back then maybe you couldn't buy signs like that online, or
you couldn't. No, geez, that was before online.
It was bleeding off.
There was no computers. So basically, what it was, we were always. We used to try and plan things and get things set up right for people who would say, you'd love my brother Brian would be great setup, and that'd be great. You'd set up those things. But a lot of it was just walking around Dublin streets and looking at shops and pet shops. Getting ideas.
Yeah.
So PJ rang me and says, get into town now, straight away. We found this half price shop. It'd be perfect for your character. It'd be just perfect. So I had all the bus journey to think of something.
That's fucking unreal, isn't it?
So, and I was just like, it wrote itself. What can you do?
So you were telling your man, just for anyone who hasn't heard it, you were asking your man, are the signs for sale signs for sale?
Yeah.
And the 50% signs, they're half price, aren't they? And your man was losing the fucking rag trying to explain it to you.
Now there's a law in those hidden camera shows. The angrier someone gets doing it, the more chance that they're going to take it they're going to laugh and say,
Oh,
brilliant,
really?
that's brilliant.
Right,
And the more controlled someone is doing it, the more likely they're going to lose their temper and say no, or even say, I'm going to get a solicitor and all of this.
Oh, Jesus.
So he lost the temper, but the minute we said it's a joke, brilliant.
He thought it was
love
deadly.
Yeah.
He was sound as a pound.
Did you have any good ones that didn't go out because of that?
There were ones like people said, look, I can't listen. That might be with a woman and like they were married.
Shouldn't be.
Should have been there.
Yeah.
And I said, I really like the show, but we can't do that. Yeah. There were a couple of times I was threatened, you know. I mean, certainly with the orange sash.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I wonder why.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I was out in Holt or somewhere, and this guy, I'll fucking get you, get over, I'll fucking get you.
That is
Okay,
mad.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm only joking.
Yeah.
So what happens in them situations? So after you do that sketch, say, and then you'd say, "Oh, it's a joke. You're on camera." Do they like have to sign something and all that?
Yeah, so you'd go off
Yeah.
and leave them, and then the cameraman, one of the cameramen, it was amazing how it worked, because there was a guy called Lee McGrath directed and produced it, and he would often be just hanging around with a camera like that. So there'd be hidden cameras around, but he'd be just have a bag.
The camera's
and a
in.
lens.
Yeah.
But he just pretended he was from foreign, like Lithuanian or whatever.
From foreign.
From foreign.
Lithuania,
I'm
every
from
country.
You understood. You understood. You're from Drimna. Foreign. There's no point in saying Lithuania to you. Foreign. Well, like, and he'd just go. People would say, "Who are you?" Oh, no. If that was me, I'd be thinking, "What's that? That's a bit odd."
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they'd go, "I do it," and they'd go, "Okay," and they'd get back
And just sniff it,
yeah,
like.
and he was amazing like that.
That's
and
mad.
sometimes, like, you walk away, like you'd think, "Oh no, I'm not going to get any more of them," and I'd walk away, and he'd kick you, get back,
Get back
Oh.
in.
You'd
and do
sometimes
something
get the best stuff when you went back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
You know,
mad.
went back for more.
And it was just used to. So if someone intervened or someone trying to get angry over
No,
it.
there was a guy got angry at me in the zoo, and
What was this one
luckily-
again? You said something got loose.
I did, yeah. There was a monkey got loose as well, and that was for a nun. And then one of the best ones in the zoo, I told the guy that he could shoot one of the zebras and bring it home
And it was so deadpan, you would believe it. Like, it was
and have it for
fucking
meat. You could chop it up, we'll butcher it for you.
Oh, it's so funny. And is that again just something that you would have just thought at home and gone, that's fucking gas. We do that going to the zoo
Well,
now.
no, you didn't. You just thought, you're just so nervous. You're just out there and you think, what do we do? What do we do?
Yeah, that's.
And you come up around the idea. I mean, the thing, I remember going in as an American into, going around asking people for a kidney, you know. And,
You know, oh yeah.
But that was, I would originally went in looking for, you know that coat of arms place on Nassau Street? It sells all the family coat of arms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they said, when you go in there, and Maeve said, why did you go in and say, that's your family and you're looking for a kidney? And that's where that idea came from. So with that, but yeah. But where was I going with that? But yeah, so basically in the zoo, and the guy lost his temper, and luckily there's a sound man and a cameraman in the bushes. So when your man's getting thick of me, out come the three guys.
Oh, okay.
And then they
And
just
yeah,
stop it there.
yeah.
And then when you say, when PJ would do something and you would see it, obviously, would you see that day? Or would you ever be
that
there?
day or that night, like, or not that. I mean, then maybe the next day you go into the edit room and
see it.
the editor was a
Sign.
genius in that. I have to say, Mick McMahon, he's won loads of awards for editing. He'd make something brilliant. Like do you remember the one where PJ went to Killarney and he had the handcuffs on that one?
Yeah, and he got
your man,
they
the
let him in the
Jarvie.
car and all.
Yeah.
Oh, that was brilliant. And like that, your man just edited that like a film.
So fucking
Unbelievable.
funny. The PJ had handcuffs on and he'd gone to these lads asking for something to open the handcuffs.
Yeah.
And the lads were looking at him like, you fucking mad. He went on the phone there and he was like, this fella fucking, come on, we'll bring him along and you have a bag of cash here and all. Your man was willing to do. He had him in the car and everything. It's fucking brilliant.
But the editor used to make just brilliant stuff out of that. Like, you know, it was really amazing.
Yeah.
One of the things, like, I can give out a bit of RT now because they're going shite. Like. But I used to do this thing on a show called Don't Feed the Gondolas in around 2000. I used to interview people on the streets, Vox Pops.
Right.
And I'd do a little sketch beforehand. But, like, I mean, the RT editors didn't bother their arse. They'd put in outtakes or anything.
Jeez.
Or even sometimes you go up and, like, there'd be someone vulnerable and you'd start asking them a question, you realise they're vulnerable and you just walk away. But they put that in. Make me look like the bad guy. And then, like, but just get things all out of sync. But then if you go out and do, like, one of the sort of independent companies, they'd have the best editors and all the best stuff. Like, you know, they were amazing.
Bit of their own in it as well. Like, they probably have money invested in
But
stuff.
like, I suppose an RT, like the cameraman, basically you'd be interviewing someone, they'd be on the camera there and phone and looking on the phone and all this. And then they'd say, lunchtime, have to go. And we can't go outside. We can't go there because it's 50 miles out of Dublin, and I'll have to charge extra if I go there.
Jesus, that's too corporate.
I'm getting a bit Trump-like now. I'm not deregulation.
What's your opinions on Mexicans?
Yeah, exactly.
I hate them.
Yeah. My son does a great impression, but he starts doing this all the time now. It's stuck. It's like the wind blew, and he's now like. And he's tremendous all the time.
It could be just a mime.
I was today. It was tremendous. Yeah, but that was the thing with RT, where you're doing it and stuff in, like, I mean, even doing the Tommy Tiernan show was weird, even though it's made by an independent. You have all the RT heads around, you know. It's old school, you know.
Corporate's hard, especially RT. They're big as Northern, like it's as corporate as you can get. Like
very.
Were you even surprised when Naked Camera got the go ahead? Like,
yeah, do you know the thing with Naked Camera was that at the time I was in a show called Stew around the same time. It's a sketch show, and I put up some of the sketches. Like, it didn't do very well. It got a second series, didn't go for a third series. Not many people watched it, but I remember when he hates Stew. Absolutely
more of a coddle man.
Yeah, exactly. See that? No.
Nice, very good.
That is genius. That's the clip now.
I'm clipping that, let me tell you. Anytime I'm feeling down.
But so Stu, that was commissioned by RT around the same time as Naked Camera. And they put all their effort into Stu. They put a lot of money into it. But they were on top of them for all language. Everything. You could only say a few things, you know, you could a few F words, whatever. And they were on top of going through all the scripts.
Yeah.
With Naked Camera, they just said, look, it costs nothing. We'll go with it because they're doing it so cheaply.
Yeah.
And no one interfered at all.
That's mad.
How we got commissioned, I don't know. I think it was just that it was so cheap.
Yeah.
And I remember the commissioning editor at the time, Julian Vignoles, his son liked the pilot, and that's how it got commissioned. I remember that.
Yeah.
And anytime the son liked something, we had this thing. His son's like the monkey.
Keep doing it, like, yeah.
And he's just the one making the decisions. So we just got no interference, and there was no limits on language or content. Like, you wouldn't make it now.
No way.
And we had no interference. They never came to see it. Never came to see what scripts, anything.
Jesus,
that's mad.
I couldn't even wrap.
Same with the Savage Eye, because they just let us.
That was a mad one as well, because I don't know whether I should repeat some of the things I would say on this, but
we did film some sketches and they were dropped because they were offensive.
Really?
They were offensive. I wouldn't go near it now. I wouldn't tell you what we did.
Yeah.
What Dave did.
Off camera,
What
maybe.
Dave did, he changed it, wasn't he?
Yeah. No, nothing I wrote as ever. I mean, it was all with him, but like Dave really pushed the envelope there.
Well,
and it was really out there. They did cut one sketch that was a bit, the last series in 2014. Maybe things were turning then. And there was something about, I think it was nuns. It was the Diet Coke ad, but with nuns, when they were all sweating, looking at Jesus. And there was a sexy guy in a Diet Coke ad, and all these women were cooling down with these cans of Coke.
Yeah.
And these nuns were looking at Jesus and getting all turned on and cooling down his Coke. And that wasn't shown.
Really?
And it wasn't that bad, like.
Yeah.
The ones that were bad were bad.
Yeah, I can imagine, because there was ones that were in it that were pretty bad now as well. So not bad. They were. Well, I don't know whether they were funny or not. I'm not going to comment whether they were funny, but they were something.
The world's gone mad, isn't it? Like, you can't even
in
say
a million
like
years you wouldn't go near it. You wouldn't even, not just submit it, you wouldn't even think it.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't go there. Yeah.
And what stopped Naked Camera then? Were you getting too recognised?
Too recognised, yeah. I mean, 3 series is often the limit for things, and
everyone,
like the
I'd
first series,
keep that going forever.
Yeah.
Like, Impractical Jokers do it in America. I know that's huge, but
I think,
like, you can come up with endless stuff.
Yeah.
in Practical Jokers, they always get told now that is a bit fake and a bit scripted.
Yeah.
Because it's hit a stage with that, like, where it's like everybody fucking knows them. Like, that same as yourselves at one stage.
So,
like,
I was recognising it because I was in Father's Head.
Course,
people often said, you're on.
You were fucked, like.
I remember once, so the first series went really well. The second series, we said, we never get away with it, right? And we went to a makeup artist and costumer in the Abbey Theatre. And we got like fake beards, moustaches, wigs, hats, everything. Myself and PJ were going out as 2 American veterans.
Yeah.
Do all this. We were going out to film. We got out of the Abbey. And not a joke. We walked 20 yards up the street and someone says, "There's Owen McLove and Jake Stevens."
Oh, Jesus.
Right.
Just all that time. Did you even try to do the sketches that day?
We didn't bother with all that. No, we dropped the whole thing. But everyone knew us. And you were basically, by the 3rd series, the first series took a couple of weeks to film. Really, maybe a month or 2. Not much for a series.
How many episodes was that?
6 episodes. Very little time.
Yeah.
Because basically PJ got the whole thing in like weeks, and same with Maeve. They got tons of stuff very quickly. The second series then took probably 4 months, 5 months, and then the last series took a year, like it just non-stop. We kept having to go back because it kept being recognised. It was a nightmare.
Is that the biggest problem?
Couldn't have gone on, yeah.
Did you ever consider going to England? I don't know if it was
they did go to England in 2013. PJ did it with Sharon Mannion and Jim. It was called Trojan Donkey, and they did some of it. It was based in Scotland.
Vaguely remember this.
Jim
didn't happen.
Jim and Nobby, is that them?
Yeah, and it didn't really happen because the Scots were a bit more wary.
Okay.
They're different people.
Yeah.
You know, Irish people.
Fuck away from me.
Yeah, exactly. They're
Get
really.
away from me with your newspaper and your fucking handcuffs.
What do you do? Yeah, Irish people are so polite. We just put up with it.
Yeah,
and maybe things have changed now. I don't know, but they mightn't be. Oh well, you've got the full Irish hidden camera show. Like, so I suppose we like that sort of thing, and Irish people are chatty.
I love it.
That.
I think it's brilliant. I loved your man, the face jacker. The phone jacker in England. Did you see that one?
Oh yeah, that's right.
He used to do the prank calls.
He did that before. Actually, we did the pitch in RTE, and that was it Face Jack? It was Trigger Happy TV originally. The guy with the big phone. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever saw that.
I do.
Dom Jolly. It was a huge show at Channel 4. We went into RTE at the pitch, and I said, it'd be a bit like Trigger Happy TV.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, they hadn't
the
a
guys
clue.
in RTE hadn't a clue.
Really?
He didn't watch telly.
Jesus Christ.
But this is Legion.
Like
I think they have the finger on the pulse with everything.
Especially that.
Because especially if it's in England, you think, I do my own version.
You would nearly think that's
the
model as well.
Yeah.
That's mental, man.
Actually, last year, there was talk about coming back for a 20-year kind of reunion, but it didn't happen. RTE they don't have the money, and they were doing their own one anyway. So
last year was a bit of a bad year for the old RTE, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What was that?
The whole scandals and all of that.
Mr. Turbiddy and everything,
Bro, that was mad. You couldn't. She was really.
I don't know why. I just feel like I'm the character now.
Really leaned in on the side.
Talking about characters now, I feel a bit loosey goosey,
God, you could have turned me on there. You're like a talk show host or something. And let's bring it over to Dahi on the food corner.
Why food? What's
I don't know. I'm just trying to. I don't watch daytime, so
no
stuff like that at all.
Yeah, last year was a bit of a dodgy one, and it's a pity because that would be the numbers that would get now, man.
Oh.
Yeah, you wonder. I mean, I don't think many people watch RTE now. If you look at the figures.
No, they don't. But if you watch,
they'd get people onto the player though. That's the thing. If they'd done that,
the player's actually been pretty good now for comedians, isn't it? There's a few shows now that is on that.
Yeah, they've got No Worries If Not now, and they've got the two Johnnies and all of that. Yeah, so not many people watch them live, but they'll watch them on the player.
Yeah. I think that's just the world in general now, isn't it? I think
Tommy Tierney's show is much bigger on the player than there is.
Is it as well? Yeah.
Well, I think it pretty much is. Yeah.
Yeah. We actually seen him there 2 weeks ago. I think it was in Ficker Street.
Yeah.
It was actually funny because it was on a Friday night. And he was in the middle of a set or whatever, talking. Then he just said randomly, "You're probably wondering how am I on the telly now, and I'm here. This is recorded."
Yeah, very good.
He was good.
Very good.
John Cleary actually was the supporter.
John Cleary,
he's brilliant. Yeah.
Did you ever see his head?
It's not as big as mine, and I just want to say that and reiterate that.
He was in a lot of the Savage Eye sketches. I don't really remember a lot of those. I was saying to you before we started here, though, a lot of them creep up now, like the one Garda, two Nyardi. I didn't know that was from the Savage Eye, but I've seen that clip.
Do you know what? I've seen that clip,
again.
and I don't think originally I knew it was from the Savage Eye either.
No,
because it's just TikTok now. You get a 60-second clip.
I know that.
You don't know what it's from. You just like it and you scroll on.
Well, funny thing with the Savage Eye was that it was kind of clever. We tried to be very clever with it, and the voiceover was all the Ireland, and it was all sociological, and and a lot of people were a bit like, what's that like?
Yeah.
And so, some of the neighbours would be like, I don't like that. Whatever. And then when it's all chopped up like baby food, you know the way you chop up food for a toddler, and you give it to them. I seen the Savage Joy and I'm fucking brilliant.
Yeah, that's
not
where
the same Dublin people are.
That's what they were
implying that at all.
The clips are resurfacing now and
but they are like all these things, like that court sketch that we were all in and Willa was in.
That was what was that one? Was that the one when he was like, we're outside the court and we're waiting for him to come in and all
That's brilliant. It's the one where it's the opera in the courtroom. I don't know if you ever saw that.
I've seen that one.
I'll check it out. Yeah, Willa's in the court. Yeah, Willa's in it. Yeah.
From the Savage Joy?
Yeah.
Jesus,
he was in a good few sketches. Yeah, we had him in a lot.
That's brilliant. That is, I don't know, obviously he didn't bring them in. They earned their right to be there. But like, there is a lot of, like, I'd never known John Collery back then. I only really know him now since I'm doing comedy. And I was watching it. I was like, oh, there's your man. Oh, there's your man. Like, I know all of these people. It's good that they were kind of involved. And
it was brilliant. Yeah. It's a great launch pad for a lot of people, as was definitely the Republic Italia at the time. That was a huge thing at the time for launch, and all the the Rubber Bandits and Bridget Name and all that stuff came out of that. And you had loads of different sketch shows like that would have launched people, but it's kind of all gone. It's all gone. I mean, it's not a bad thing because it's gone to Instagram. The great thing about Instagram is the gatekeepers are gone, so you don't have the RT commissioners who've never heard of all these shows. But it's just going straight to the people, and it's good. It's really good, I think, in most ways. It's good to have television programs where you've got a big budget. So on the Savage Eye, if I thought up of a sketch set in the famine, they'd put a bit of money behind it and you get people dressed just like in the famine and it looked great. Now that you don't have the budgets, everyth's cheap. Everything's just...
If you're doing it yourself, especially as well, like
absolutely. If you're just filming with your son and that, you've got your little tripod, you're very limited in what you can do.
Definitely.
And that's a pity. But the great thing is now that people can just get out there and there's none of that sort of gatekeepers like promoters or television commissioners deciding who's going to be the next big thing. It's just people are deciding. I think that's really good.
Your destiny's in your own hands now, isn't it? Like you have your phone in your pocket.
You can't spoof it anymore. You can't.
No.
Just to go back there, when you're doing the sketches, obviously you are writing them as well and performing.
So with McSavage, I think a lot of people, and this isn't Dave necessarily, but like a lot of people assumed he wrote everything. But there was a writing room. I suppose the first two series, Dave did write a lot, and he was obsessed. He'd ring you at midnight. Like I had two small kids.
I can imagine that. Hey, as well.
Okay, I've just got this idea. What do you think you should do? Will you read it? And you're like, he owned you. He was in your head all the time. I was married with kids, but Dave was there all day. And clearly felt the same thing. And there was Dermot McMurray.
That's probably why your head is so big, because he's just living there.
I
don't like saying that your head's so big. I know you said it yourself, but I don't feel like I'm slagging you.
I know. I want to constantly say that so people establish I have the biggest head in comedy. But like McSavage did own your head. So for 2 years he was obsessed. He never slept, and he'd be out doing Vox Pops, interviewing people, just all is on. And he is a brilliant writer. But look, we were all in writer's room telling him, giving him ideas and giving him sketches and all of that. He had a bit of a breakdown. He's open about this. He had a breakdown in the third series. So we did the first 2 episodes. They're very strong episodes, and he kind of stopped writing. And he lost it. And so for the last part of the third series, and all of the fourth series, the rest of us had to really fill in a lot of the gaps for Dave, And so, I mean, he did write for it, but there was an awful lot of more like written by us. And the Damien O'Donnell is a brilliant director. He won a BAFTA for best film. He was directing the last series. Brilliant. And so we really helped Dave get it over the line for that one, particularly.
You know, when you're in a writer's room, is there such thing as too many writers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good question now. He's on fire. He had the coddle, and now he's got that bait point. Now, I'm expecting more in the second half.
You have fucking questions now. I thought I was flying here.
We're all expecting more, to be honest.
I was flying here. I was actually going to ask another question. I said I'll let him ask one now.
I'm there.
Fuck, we should have fucking crashed that car on the way here, Hope he's enjoying it on the way home. He's a shite driver.
He ran over. Thanks for that. But
your head is kind of big, actually.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I think you're right. And there's too little.
Yeah,
it's too small.
That's what I was going to ask.
He was there, and you were drinking. You hadn't just put it to your lips. You say it now. We'll edit it in.
Well, is there such thing as too many little? Wait, what is it?
You ruined it. He ruined it. His big moment. He just had one line.
One line. We can't re-edit it again.
Anyway,
You can't re-edit and edit.
it's good. Leave it in.
Say so. Yeah,
Is there in a writer's room? Is there too much? Hold on. Sorry. In a writer's room.
This is like my first audition for Havin.
In a writer's room, is there such thing as too many writers?
Yes.
I have no willy. Sorry, what? What was
Couldn't resist.
Go on, ask the second part of that question.
Grand, listen, we'll ruin it if we go anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But because when we started writing it, Dave got a whole bunch of people in, and they're all really good, like established comedians. They were really everyone was chipping. It was too many voices.
Okay.
And it was just getting nowhere. And he whittled it down to the four of us then.
Oh, really?
And any time one of the four of us weren't in, like we were on holiday or we were sick or whatever, and the three of us met, we get nothing done.
Yeah.
Really?
Nothing. It was
Four
mad.
Was the perfect one, like, was it?
4 was the perfect one. And even like, coming back for the 4th series, and like I think John and Dermot were a bit like, do we need to go through this again and all of that? It wouldn't have worked if any of us had kind of not done it,
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you get like sketches where you'd go, I'd love to be in that, but you're not written in it? Or like you'd write and you'd write yourself out of it, you leave it for the rest of them?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
You did that
I know you're on now. That's brilliant.
He's back, baby. He's back.
He's back. Yeah. No, you're right though, because very often when you wrote a sketch, you didn't really want to be in it. You just had them in mind. You thought, this would be great with Dave and John and someone else coming in. And John did the same. He would very often not be in the sketches he wrote.
Is that because you feel like you know their personality more, or are you just being modest and just saying, You're
always a bit like funny seeing yourself on screen, no matter how often you're on telly and that.
Yeah.
It's always that thing. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, your man, And so you'd think, they do a great job. So often like that. Now, Dave would always be in his sketches if he could. Yeah. But, if it was me or John or Dermot, like, you very often write them. And I mean, most of the Dermot sketches, I think, he wasn't in,
Really?
Yeah, he just wrote them, and like he wrote a lot of the junky ones and that, Things.
I'd love to be in there, not even just to watch it, just to see how it goes. Like,
I'd love that
to be at the writer's room.
Yeah, I'd love to see what that's like. I say that's crazy. Like,
it was good by times. It was bad by times.
Killing each other.
Yeah, but like Dave would go on. Dave probably has ADHD. I think he talks about it openly.
Probably.
So he would go. He has
ADHD.
He's the original.
Yeah.
He's like front of the ADHD manual. Picture McSavage. Because you'd be watching. You'd be talking like this, and an ambulance would go by, and he'd go, "What the fuck?" And that'd be it. Couldn't concentrate the rest of the day. No, I'm gone now. Fuck's sake.
Jesus Christ.
Or he just fixate on one thing. He just fixate on something. Say he just got an idea he wants to do one about crocodiles. And you're just like, can we move on? We're doing a 6-part series.
Yeah.
This is the second meeting we're talking about crocodiles. Are we going to do, I was thinking about, sort of crocodile bat. No, you didn't do a crocodile. Be thinking about obsessing about this thing. And that would be, we'd often spend like 3 months writing one episode, and then you'd have to write the others in like a week.
And that 3 months on a 30-minute episode, was it?
Yeah, on 130 episode. And he'd just like, you just move on.
Yeah.
Because he had that sort of mentality. And it'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say similar to comedy, but would you ever write one and then go to perform it or go to act it out and be like, that's actually shite.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
What we thinking? Like?
Well, the worst thing with McSavage was he was brutal at... I've been in a good few writers' rooms and writing for different things, and most people are polite, so you read them out, you do a read through, and then you go, maybe with a tweak and this, and that'd be like, get rid of it, we'll think about it, If McSavage would read, he would take out your stuff, he'd print out the stuff you've sent him and go, I'll just do this.
His manners are so good.
And he'd just be like, I spent half a day writing that, and sometimes then the director, Damien O'Donnell, would pick up that and get it and rework it and get it into the show.
Oh, really?
And then it'd go up, and everyone and the review would say McSavage is on fire again with this sketch.
But, at least you don't let it body you.
That's
that's the main thing. At least it doesn't get under your skin.
But overall, I did ring him once to say I don't want to do it anymore. I've had enough. One day of filming with him, he was a pain in the hole to film. He wouldn't talk to the director and he wouldn't talk to us for ages. What? Filming.
Sounds like me.
I knew that. I picked that up. But
great minds.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I mean, we ended up good friends after, and once the filming stopped, we'd get back to normal. He'd overthink things and get paranoid, and you know what I mean? He'd be really insecure as well.
Oh yeah. Are you talking about him now? Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly.
What's going on here?
Yeah,
you're gonna get someone walk through this door like a fucking AA meeting or something like that. You do that AA meetings for paranoia? No,
probably. Yeah.
If you get Dave in, like that's gonna be some clash.
Oh my god! Will you come in with me then?
Yeah.
Me and you on this side of the table.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's what. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you know David before that?
For Naked Camera. I just told you.
Obviously, yeah.
I just told you.
How about this one? Did you know him before Naked Camera?
Yeah, I know. I tell you what I did.
He was probably in, was he?
No. I met him in the Laughter Lounge one night, and he did a gig. And I thought it was very good, but he said a few things, and I thought you wouldn't say it now. Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. He was wild. He's really wild then. And I remember doing gigs with him. Like I remember he got me to support him in some theatre in town, and so I did the support, and it was grand. He started this gig and he was flying. I went to the toilet, came back, and the audience were leaving. This is like 10 minutes into the show, and he'd walked off.
Did he?
Yeah, and wouldn't come back out. So he was wild then. He's much mellower now. If you meet him, he's much mellower with age.
We're trying to get him on here as well.
Oh, you do it.
We've been talking to him, so hopefully, touch wood. Yeah.
No, and I worked with him on a few things after. He tried to get some things off the ground after, and they didn't happen, but like it was grand. It was good working with him. But just on the Savage Eye, he got very worked up.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Yeah.
Just see the way you're saying you're trying to work on. I know we don't have a lot of time left. I just want to ask this question: when you're trying to get something in, right? Like you've been on some of these shows and you're trying to get it started. What is the progress? Like, is that like from your idea to getting it on telly? How hard is that?
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things just go nowhere.
It does. Yeah.
Even if you're an established name, like I'm like Mike Savage or PJ, and PJ did couple of series after Naked Camera didn't really work, and then got harder then to make stuff, and McSavage couldn't get a project, and I submitted pilot scripts, and they got nowhere.
Really?
Yeah, so it's hard, and most things fail. Most things I was in didn't. I mean, like I was talking about Stu was good, and I got 2 series, but and it's done well online, but at the time it wasn't a big hit. I was in a few different shows that just went nowhere.
What's your favourite thing you've been in? Have you got a favourite?
Yeah, I mean, the one I'm most proud of.
Good question.
Is, but that was a good question.
It was.
But,
it was a good.
Yeah, you can learn a thing or two, can't you? Yeah, I was gonna say.
But the Savage Eye is the one that's closest to my heart. I mean, that is the one because I wrote on it. More than anything, I wrote it. I got to write sketches in it. So that's the one I'm most proud of, definitely.
What's your favourite sketch from that? Good
question.
Did you like that one?
I don't know if it's the funniest sketch. The one I was most proud of writing, and it's a bit awkward now. I don't know what it's like now, but it was remember we did the politicians. Well, I had 2 politicians going to see a hunger striker, and I don't know if you remember that in the 4th series. And they go in, and it's basically, the guy's dying, and they're just being like, well, I think you're doing a fantastic job. And that was really on the edge, and I was really proud of that.
That's fucking deadly.
I would have loved to do a series like that, something like more with that sort of darker sort of political thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. But definitely the Savage Eye is my favourite, the one that's close to my heart.
Yeah. I didn't know you were going to answer that because I know you've been in so many things. I don't know if people are like, what to touch on, what not to touch on.
The happiest experience was Stu, and Moonboy was a great thing to work on. I loved the whole time and all that.
Where was that on? Sky, was it? Or?
Sky, yeah. But I mean, it was treated quite well, and not like McSavage, but people were nice to me and talked to me and all of that. I got free food and all that, Did
McSavage ever slag you about your head? Is that
all the time, every day? Every day.
I think we're getting to the bottom of something here. Call in the AA people.
He just slagged. That's what he did. That's all he did all day, every day.
We'll probably just leave him out, will we? We might get him back some other time.
This might be a silly question, right? But see, when you're writing for that, I imagine you aren't actually in RTE. Are you just renting an office?
Never went near it. Yeah, rented an office in town. Yeah.
And do RTE pay for that? Okay, thank God.
Yeah, they would have given us some money for that. Yeah,
Thank God.
we didn't get big budgets though. The one thing is, we didn't get big budgets, and something I'll say is like, television doesn't pay that well. Like, I mean, certainly didn't. It doesn't pay anymore. But like back then, we didn't make big bucks on a lot of those shows. Even Father Ted, I know Ardle and the rest of the, and Dermot and all didn't make that much money doing it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I got something like, was it Sterling was $2,500 and something like that at the time. It was worth more in punts, when I got it. But like, they would have got that times 6 or times 10. So, maybe 30 grand or something like that for a series. And you're thinking like how big it is. They got a lot for the repeats and the DVDs and the videos. They would have made a lot of money.
Just that's what's that word?
Royalties.
Royalties. Is that just for the, like, if you're one episode, you get that even? Yeah, class, yeah.
Oh, geez, yeah, no, that was great. Like, for a good few years there, getting good money.
We'll give out the address if anyone wants to. We cut that out, everyone.
Nice.
And you're from Drimna. This is really scary. This is really...
What time do you mean sleep at?
Yeah.
Where's the spare key?
But yeah, so, but it didn't pay that well. It didn't, all those telly...
And if today's world, if Father Ted was to be made, would you make the equivalent of that now?
Would I be in it?
No, what you made from that episode, if that was to be shot today, is the money still the same?
No.
It's even better now.
Worse. It's worse
now.
It's worse than, doing telly now, it's not good at all.
Really?
Moonboy paid very badly. Like,
really?
I don't
And that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah. No, it wasn't that good.
When Sky was booming as well, like you would have had like Modern Family.
I thought you got out of Sky, oh man, brilliant. No. And it wasn't it. All we did, as soon as he said cut, was give out about the pay.
You know what? You just remind me. We never done that segment.
Oh shit! And we're 5 minutes in.
We've 5 minutes left. What can we do?
You can edit something out.
No, we got it in at the end. It's fine. I think it's usually just to give us, if there's nothing else we can talk about. But I think we fucking filled it.
I'm a terrible liar, by the way.
We're gonna so this is the opposite.
Very quickly.
It's okay. No,
we're gonna finish with this instead of starting it. But oh my god, we haven't even that. I could talk about it.
So
even when Carl gave us the timer there, I
forgot about. I don't know what it was they said there that made me, because he was talking about it in the car. You didn't tell me what they were, but there was something you were going to say. And then you were going to talk.
I have a degree in Irish, but I can't understand it. Yeah.
That was going to be one of them, but we ended up talking about that anyway. So
that's true. I can't understand Irish, and I have a degree in it.
That is true.
Yeah.
I knew you had a degree in it.
But you can't speak it.
Oh, you can't speak it?
No, and you would have got us cut over that.
I know, like, on Cadov Dulgadine Letters, like that, at that level.
Class.
And the answer is yes, you can.
It's that Padraig McDonnell is Anam Dum, like that. I know that.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a mad one.
Yeah.
Right, do you want to end with that then?
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
Do I tell you 3 things and then you question is it 3 in a row?
So we're going to pick out which one you're lying, which one you're having us on with.
Okay.
So 3 facts about you or 3 whatever.
Right, I'm a terrible liar, right. I nearly sold Dame Helen Mirren a jumper.
Right.
I was once brought on Irish television, just like the African guy who was brought on BBC. I was the wrong guest.
Oh, really?
And I shook Zinedine Zidane's hand.
I like these 3. I don't know who the first person is though. Who is the first person?
Helen Mirren is a famous actress.
Okay.
Irish.
Famous. No, English actress. A very famous. Established sort of dame. She's in a lot of things like she was played Catherine the Great recently. She used to take her clothes off a lot on television in the 70s.
And you shook her hand?
Okay. No, he sold her.
No, I shook Zinedine Zidane's hand.
Why?
I'm trying to get you.
I'm sorry,
you idiot.
Why?
I nearly sold her a jumper.
Nearly.
Why nearly? Why didn't you?
I just wasn't a good enough salesman.
So where were you working at the time?
I was working in a woolen shop.
I'm so stupid. I thought she just wanted your jumper. I didn't know this was like you're in a shop. So what year would this have been?
That would have been about 1995.
1995, the same year. Father Ted.
Oh, yeah. No, that was 98.
I was in later. I was in a bit later in 98.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So before. And you're working in a woolen shop where?
Dublin.
And you started comedy in 95?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't have an idea on this, and he smiled when I said something there, but he got a bit too giddy, I think.
Okay,
I knew the answer. I think he got too giddy about it.
The second one was
I was brought on to an Irish television show, but I was the wrong guest.
Which TV show?
It was TV3, the Virgin now. TV3's morning show.
Okay.
And who did they think you were?
Another actor.
Oh, and
which actor?
His name was Nevin Finnegan he's also an actor from County Louth.
Okay, that's
And these look similar? No, just because you're
a
an
bit
actor.
similar, yeah. Someone else suggested I looked a bit like him.
And did they ask you questions thinking you were actually him?
Did you get interviewed?
They thought I was me. They knew my name, but they thought I was... He played something that I was in it, and it was wrong show.
Oh, that's awkward, isn't it?
And was he there in the studio at the time?
Oh, they hardly asked him
They wouldn't ask him. They thought I was him.
Oh, right, sorry. No, but what happened to that fella in BBC was he was just waiting in the waiting area, and they thought he was someone, and they just brought him through.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't invited to be there.
No, they thought I was him, and they brought me out in a taxi.
All right, and so they asked you questions about
in the morning.
Yeah, that BBC one's mad because your man was just like, he was just there for a job interview, I think.
Oh my God.
And they brought him through, and they had him as a fucking interview, and he didn't know what to say, but he just went along with it. It's so funny.
Is Sedan, where was this?
That was in Dalymount Park in 1990. Shit. It was sometime in the mid 90s of the UEFA Cup, and Bose played.
Juve, was it?
No, Bordeaux. Bordeaux. I lived beside Bose ground. I was living in Cabra Park, and I used to go to matches. And I had a friend who followed Dundalk, living in Dublin. We went to them, and we just went down and shook hands with people. And then afterwards, he said, "That was Zidane. You shook Zidane's hand."
Oh, so you didn't know why they were shaking his hand?
And he won the fucking World Cup. And all that.
Before that?
I had just gone down and I didn't realise.
Oh,
and were you just a fan there, or were you?
I was, because we just went along because it was like a match on. It was a European match right beside where I lived.
Yeah, but why did you get to shake players' hands?
Because you just went down to the side. We went down to the side of the thing. It wasn't like Wembley where there was a big thing. It was just like a local pitch.
Isn't he? He's good at the questions. He's good.
But it wasn't a big thing. It was just and I'm shy, but my friend was just really like extrovert and would go and do these things. So I was only after, I didn't think of what it was. I didn't know at the time what that meant. It wasn't like going to see Messi now.
Yeah.
It was just happened to, you shook his hand.
Okay. Was this, I can catch him here, was he bald at that time or did he have hair?
No, he had a full head of hair.
Okay, that's correct. This is a hard one.
But did he win
I don't remember him. I don't remember him. I just know I shook his hand.
Oh, so he didn't say, that guy that you just, that's Zidane.
He said, my friend was more into football, big Dundalk fan. We went to this match and then he said that was Zidane.
I'm going to believe that.
What is your friend's name?
Brendan Moriarty. You can call him now.
Alright, X that one off.
Okay, I'm gonna believe that one, right?
I don't know. He was getting into it, but I feel like he was kind of being defensive a little bit. He wasn't a defender.
Right, this is my opinion. You don't have to go with me. I'm gonna believe that, right? The RTE one, I'm not sure, and the jumper
was TV3.
Okay, that was quick, wasn't it? That was quick.
I believe the TV3 one. I do believe it, but then I'm also like,
you know what?
he had the reference quickly to talk about the BBC one. It's almost as if he thought that was funny. Now let me create a story about that. Do you know, he's looking away now.
Well, he is looking away.
I don't know shit about this thing.
Pat, you're a good lawyer. You said you're a bad lawyer.
No, you are a good lawyer.
This is tough now. This is probably the toughest one we've had so far.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a bit, and because I've gotten 2 out of 2 so far, I'm a bit like, I need to think about it.
I'm 1 and 1. I'm 1 and 2. He's 2 and 2. The first one though, that lady, he might have known we didn't know her. You know what I mean? That might have been a spanner in the works.
Yeah, he wasn't very confident on who she was himself, to be honest.
He just said she was a woman that got naked.
She took her clothes off.
So she came into the shop you were working.
Not naked now. She was.
Jesus, put this jumper on.
I don't care. Nah. She came into the shop.
You knew
who she was, but you didn't know who Zinedine Zidane was.
No, because he wasn't a big player then. He was a big player a couple of years later when he went to Juve.
Yeah,
but it was just Bordeaux. Like,
had he won the World Cup at Bordeaux?
No. He went after that.
He said he won the World Cup though.
But he won the World Cup in '98 with France.
But he did say
I didn't know.
No. He said I shook his hand and I didn't know, but he won the World Cup.
He's saying
but I'm saying is I shook his hand. He went on to win the World Cup. Right. I shook his hand when he was like practically playing for Bose, a nothing team. I didn't know who he was. I wasn't going, I met Zidane.
I'm not buying it. I'm saying Zidane. I'm saying the Zidane story.
Do you know what? I'm going to lock in. Hold on. Who's the producer on that show?
On what show?
The one on TV3.
I have no idea. You never met the producer.
See, that could be a thing.
No,
but you never met the producer. You just brought it on.
Who would have rang you to book it?
Just someone in TV3. Like, it would have been like, I can't remember. Like,
oh fuck! You're locking in on Zidane, ain't you?
Yeah, because I think he's a lot more confident in arguing that one than this one.
Oh.
But I think he's doing that on purpose.
I think the Zidane one is the one I believe the most. So I'm going to say you have me on with the first one.
I'm going to say you have me on with the Zidane one.
They're all true. No, they're not. No. No, I didn't shake Zidane's hand.
I fucking knew it. He was way too confident about it. Way too confident.
I did see him play. I went to the match.
You were there.
I was there, and I could always say he was there. I was there because I was after. I mean, obviously, you don't know any of these players. They beat them. I might have beaten them 1-0 or something. It wasn't a big margin, but like it was only after people say that was Zidane playing that day, and I thought, wow. So I just thought today. That, I mean, I often say I saw
really
Zidane.
Good one,
you're a good lawyer.
That was the best one we've had so far. I think.
You're a good lawyer. So let's do.
And I was brought onto TV3, and they said, "So you're in the Fits, this show called the Fits there at the weekend." No.
You
having us on, and you having it, and no, and they were singing the song the guy sang. It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
Was this live?
Yeah.
I want to try. Is this on YouTube? Do you know?
No, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's probably in their archives.
That is funny, man. Could you imagine? I mean, you annoyed at that?
I was just bemused. This is mad, and it's embarrassing. And they're really like, no, really, it wasn't me. Honest to God.
That is
fucking chuffs with that. 3 out of 3.
No, you did well.
That was a hard one. There was one there I asked you a question and you smiled. The one about the shop.
Oh yeah.
You look like you were happy that you thought of that quickly, and I was like, I think he's after making this up now.
Very good.
Oh yeah.
Good lawyer. That is very good.
Was
not bad.
Really
Yeah. I met Helen Mirren. I mean, she would be considered very sexy. Actually, she was wearing all leather.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Tell us more, Pat.
No, she was a good bit older than me, but still, I remember it stuck in my memory.
Yeah, that's a mad one. That's a mad one.
Sure. You just met her. You just tried to sell her.
I didn't ask her out. Yeah.
Sure, I can't. I have no willy.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I did sell jumper. I wore a jumper in Father's Head. I sold jumpers just before I did it. Yeah.
And there was a jumper in the cake in Father's Head as well. Maybe you should have done that.
Yeah.
That was after actually. Yeah, you couldn't have unless you're a time traveller.
I had a question as well. I can't remember what way to word it, but I'll ask next time.
Go ask you.
I can't remember the one you were saying earlier on, Carl. What was the name of that again?
Yeah, go. You ask, Carl.
You ask, Carl. Carl had a question to ask
Carl
you.
wanted to ask you a question.
So Pat we're going to finish now, but Pat is worldwide famous comedian, we're going to say, right? You've played in many places. Many places. You probably have dreams of your biggest place you want to play in.
Yeah.
Biggest venue. Now Carl will take over from here. We'll edit this, yeah?
I know the fella who does the edits. What should be the best edit?
Would it still be the Parish Hall in Leitrim?
I did play the Parish Hall in Leitrim there last summer. I've done a few Parish Halls in Leitrim.
Have you?
Yeah.
And dream come true?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Where I can't remember the name of the place, but I did one last summer. Parish Hall.
Yeah. And just before we go as well, we've had this isn't now our probably 10th guest. And this is the first time Carl has also.
Well, there's no gents in that place. I had to go. Yeah, there was no gents toilets in it.
Did you use the women?
No way, the wheelchair one.
Nice.
Why not the ladies?
Because there were ladies there.
Oh yeah.
There
was no one in a wheelchair.
That's not Willie. He's not a freaking pervert.
But yeah, Carl, the first time he said he's actually really excited to meet someone who's a bit nervous.
Not well.
Yeah. Put him on the spot now.
Starstruck.
Put him on the spot. You were starstruck now when you were coming in.
Yeah.
Just let you know. So
now, do you want that with you, Will? He's giving you a lift home, actually.
And he drives a Mini Cooper. Boy, that's great, mate.
Thanks very much for coming on.
Thanks so much, honestly.
Loved that chat. That was unbelievable.
We really appreciate that.
I said it at the start, butchered it, but you really did shape. You're included in and had a massive part in a lot of people's humour. That's what I should have said. A lot of people's humour in this country, and hats off to you, man.
You've done so much for Irish comedy.
You have to be a very big hat.
Thanks so much, man.
Thanks very much. Cheers.